Hello everyone, before this video begins, I just want to quickly say this script was written by my friend Cody at Taxman Productions. I'll be adding my own stuff here and there, but out of the kindness of his heart, he decided to make this script for me because this is one of his favourite films ever. So click on the little icon that just popped up and subscribe to Taxman Productions and Cody Horton. He makes some pretty cool experimental short films, and if you like the kind of film that we're going to be talking about here, I suggest checking them out. But anyway, let's begin. Eraserhead is the first feature film by David Lynch, who might be the most confusing man ever. Eraserhead feels like if a bunch of film people got together and tried to sound smart, but I promise it's actually good. I think. The film opens with a man in a train conductor booth who pulls a lever, and a weird slime creature crashing into the moon and wiggling around. Now this is technically a sex scene because this is supposed to be sperm fertilizing an egg, but it feels kind of weird calling this a sex scene. Like, if someone tried to tell me that they thought that the opening to Eraserhead was kind of hot, I'd probably never talk to that person ever again. After this, we finally see a normal scene. Our protagonist Henry lives a dull and repetitive life, living in a tiny apartment and not doing much with his life. But Henry seems content with this. He takes pleasure in a mundane and understandable life. This is completely overturned when Henry goes to have dinner with his girlfriend's strange family.
People think pipes grow in their home, well they sure as hell don't. Look at my knee. Look at my knee.
Henry learns that his girlfriend is pregnant and he is going to have to raise the child. Henry and his girlfriend go back to his tiny house and we see the baby. Sweet merciless Christ, what is that? Henry's life has been hijacked and it only gets worse from here, as the baby starts to get sicker and sicker. Henry's girlfriend then leaves him, and in his moment of desperation, Henry sees a woman in the radiator. And this is now me speaking off script from what I've been given. I love this scene so much. I don't fully understand it 100%, but I don't feel like I need to. I feel like I can feel everything that was intended for me to feel when I watch this scene. The lady tells him in heaven everything is fine, which could be seen as a representation of Henry's draw to suicide. When he touches the lady in the radiator, he sees an endless blinding light, which seems to be a representation of death. As the baby gets sicker and sicker and Henry's life becomes more chaotic, he decides that he only has one option. Henry takes a pair of scissors and cuts his baby open, letting out a flood of foam-like blood. Yeah, I don't like that scene very much. At the end of the film, once the baby is dead, we see Henry in an infinite white void, greeted by the lady in the radiator who hugs him. And then we just go ahead and roll credits, because apparently that's a normal way to end a film. Great job, Lynch. You've fucked me up once again. Okay, now we're going to be talking about the analysis, and I'd like to once again thank Cody for writing this, because fucking I don't know what this film means. Eraserhead feels like the kind of film that needs a team of universally educated geniuses to solve. Lynch himself says it was his most spiritual film, to which he then refused to elaborate. The most popular theory about Eraserhead's deeper subtext is that it's about immaturity and growing up, which that makes a lot of sense. At the start of the film, Henry's life is simple and easy. It's only when he's forced to become a responsible adult that things get harder for him. His initial attempt to not accept the fact that his girlfriend is pregnant shows how he feels unready to be a more responsible person. The lady in the radiator telling Henry that in heaven everything is fine can be read as Henry contemplating suicide as a way out of his responsibilities. Although Henry feels responsibility, it seems that he more specifically fears fatherhood. One of the most common fears people have while becoming a father is that they'll ruin their child, making the child inherit their own dysfunctions. This fear is shown visually in one of Henry's dream sequences, in which Henry is literally decapitated and his baby's head replaces his own, in a way, literally turning into Henry. There are so many other strange moments and new interesting ideas that could be made from this film, but if I just told you everything, that would take away the fun. So go and watch Eraserhead and create your own interpretations. Here's where I'm personally going to take over for a little bit of my thoughts of the film. I think on a technical level of how well this film was thought out, this is one of the most detailed films I've ever seen, and it's a style of filmmaking which I'm incredibly envious of, just because I don't think I could make a film like this, even if I really wanted to. In terms of what I think the meaning of the film is, well, pretty much it sums it up pretty well in the analysis section. However, I'm not 100% convinced that there is a finite, this is the answer. Don't get me wrong, there are clearly things in this film that Lynch is trying to get a point across, because otherwise, what the fuck? But I think overall, as the entire message of the film, I think Lynch wanted the viewers to create their own interpretation. While I think it's very likely how Lynch also had his own reading going into it, I don't think that you should ever say someone's wrong for having their own opinion of it. Even if Lynch came out and said, this is the answer, I feel like this is the kind of film that's intended for people to have their own unique interpretations of. But anyway, that's about all I have to say. Once again, please subscribe to Taxman Productions and Cody Horton. This is genuinely just an amazing script, and I really want you to go and support him. Once again, especially if you're interested in this kind of film, because you get plenty of that on his channel. And with that, Goodbye.